intro video.
Yeah, it's what I was saying.
Neat. Oh, well, you didn't say that.
Well, wonderful. I didn't say it on camera, so it doesn't matter. I learned a fun word because there was this guy who does everything. He sings like Michael Bublé when he's just like washing his dishes. And he's like, washing my dishes. And he's like, it's very Bublaic. And he kept saying it.
Bublaic.
and everyone's like, I have to stop you. That's not a word. Like, that's not a word that people say. But I say it now. And now the hundreds of thousands of people that are going to watch this will be saying it. So random person on MSNBC, I see you, I hear you. Unfortunately, because you keep singing like fucking Michael Bublé. So,
sing Bublaically,
which sound like the Bublaic plague.
Oh,
it's just a bunch of rats singing, well, it's a marvelous night for a moon dance. And it's just all these peasants just killing themselves so they don't have to hear. Hey, everyone. Welcome in another show right on time. We actually were on time, but we're a few weeks late. But
yeah.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Laura. Hey, John. Liza. So nice to see you guys. Thank you for joining us. We have a fun show because fun shows. Well, with you, sure.
Oh,
I've had both me and Daniel have had like I don't want to say like equally because I don't know exactly what Daniel's gone through, but I've had a work day as well. Oof. And so that's why look at the dishevelment. And I know you've had a work day. Shut up. I'm so mad that I taught you that word. So we're ready to have some fun and ready to talk. I watched Snow White what's today? Today's Monday. Yeah. So Sunday night. You watched it Saturday?
Friday night.
Friday night, right. And
it's date night. No, it was Saturday.
Yeah, God, what a way to ruin a date. What a way to ruin a date. I think like Gal Gadot may be the only. I don't want to get into it now. Let's
save it for the actual review portion.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fandom Social Live. We're talking Snow White. We've got some pop culture news and headlines, and overall, just kind of catching up. So, Daniel, how you been? What's up? Married? Good. A month? Married. How long now?
Married life. A month and a week. A month and 2 weeks. Hang on. Time is just moving so much slower now.
When you get married, and maybe the other folks out there can answer, or do you treat it like a baby? You're like, oh, it's been 22 months.
You know what? At this point, we hit the month, and then we were like, oh, babe, it's been a month, and then now it's been like 2 weeks past that, and we're like, how many years has it been? You know, it's been 7 years that we've been married.
Yeah.
It's great though. No arguments. I mean, we never really fought. Now it's things like, well, I don't want to watch The Housewives tonight.
And what are you gonna do? Leave?
Yeah.
Good luck getting me in the room with you to sign. That's not happening. I will never sign those divorce papers.
I got a new tattoo. We went to Vegas for a wedding, and I got a little teeny tiny little Simba.
Oh, that's cute.
I think I showed off this one, the one I got in Japan.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Starting to lose track of them. They're like beauty marks now. I'm like, oh, when did I get this?
I know. I just have the one here and the one here, and I'm like itching to get. Like, I just want it done, and I just want the whole sleeve. I just want the sleeve,
yeah,
and maybe like a little one creeping up here. That's just like a kraken, or all of the dwarves going all the way down.
I want to see like the modern dwarves and then like the old school dwarves, all the way down. One for each ab.
On each arm. Reminds you of your past and your future. Well, hello everyone. What have you guys been up to? Who's got the biggest news out there? I've got bummer news. I found out my beautiful 11-year-old dog puppy is blind in one eye.
Oh no!
Yeah, Maddykins. She's blind. She's blind in her left eye. So some may think of it as a disability. I think she's halfway to being Daredevil now. So
okay.
She's getting close. I love her. She's so sad.
Vigilantism is just around the corner.
She is. She's already pretty mean to some cats. So
Oof.
it's more of a race thing, though. Dwayne's car transmission went out. That sucks, dude.
Oh,
I think,
dude, that's
I think that's worse than Maddie's left eye because she's gonna live for another 3 years. Your car may die tomorrow. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, when my transmission on my Honda went out, I had to I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna keep this going, so I'm just gonna go trade it in.
Oh, Laura's.
Husband needs cataract surgery. Oh
no.
Well, maybe Maddie knows a guy.
Yeah, maybe. Or a vet.
Or a vet.
We took Maddie to a vet, and turns out he just had a bunch of PTSD. So,
Poor thing.
Veteran.
My Monday at work was pretty rough. If I may add to the bad news.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get all the bad news out now, guys. And then the rest of the week is super chill. What's the worst thing that has happened to you since we last saw you that you can legally say? No, I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah. What's not bound by an NDA? Let's make sure.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a customer who was like, I need this bill reduced and taken down, yada, yada. And then they sent in a bad check.
Oh, no. The check was hot?
It bounced.
Yeah. Okay. Not good. Tenchi? The asshole. Oh, there's a show on. How novel of you. Okay. Okay. What's one? Grumpy? He's this guy. That's Tenchi. Hey, buddy. Yeah, that sucks. I'm starting to Laura's nephew just got engaged. Congratulations.
Oh,
hear that, Daniel?
congrats.
You're old news now. Don't care about you. It's nephew Keela's now. The nephew Keela's.
A new hand touches the beacon.
Yes. And now you are old seed. Well, everyone, hello, welcome in. Cold open complete. We've got some. Let's actually. This is perfect, Daniel. Let's keep it rolling with the bad news.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Fun.
It is.
Okay, so our first piece of news. It kind of hits close to home for me because I spent a lot of time in my youth at malls, and in particular, I went with a bunch of girl friends. We'd go hang out at the mall, whatever. They would always drag me to Forever 21, and
they're like, at the time, Daniel was just like, they're like, man, that guy is killing it. I don't know, he's always around these girls. I don't get it.
Oh yeah, I was a real ladies man. Yeah, we would always be at Forever 21. I mean, the music was cool, and the clothes. Let's be honest, I was a little chunky. Nothing ever fit me there, so I wasn't really there to shop. I was there to hang out and revel. But they're going out of business. They're shutting down. I think they're closing all their U.S. locations. Yeah,
they filed for full Chapter 11. I think is what it's called.
Yeah. I think it's
Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
What a bummer. And yeah, now you're starting to see the store closing signs, the everything must go. And we kind of had a little segue section about this, where we talk about other big brands that have closed like this. And I think for me personally, one of the big ones was Anchor Blue, which I don't know if you ever remember.
God, of course.
Yeah, right. They had cool band t-shirts. They had it was very much like a middle ground, Kohl's, Old Navy, and a Hot Topic. Kind of moms weren't afraid to go in, but they had cool band t-shirts. And losing that hurt.
Was this your big blue sweater era?
Yes.
Was that from Anchor Blue? There was this
absolutely
period of time where you guys may have heard us reference this, but before. But Daniel had this period of time when we were younger. All he wore was the same blue sweater and
just a blue hoodie.
It was just it was it was iconic. It was.
I think it was a Harley Davidson sweater, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool, badass. It was
Harley Davidson, Tombstone, Arizona, or something.
The straightest brand in the world.
Oof. Yeah, what kind of projection was that? That's what we should dive into. Tenji says so much for being forever.
Dude, no kidding.
On the outline, I wrote Forever 21, forever in our hearts.
Yeah. Tenchi, get out of our dock. Yeah, I mean, it really, really sucks to see. But I think by 2025, it'll be completely closed. They opened, you had it here, right, Daniel? They opened in 84.
84, yeah. Which is crazy. I mean, you don't think of these brands going back that far a lot of the times, right? we wrote down Toys R Us, and I think that opened in like 1962 or 64. Damn. And, you know, seeing like the death of these brands is kind of crazy, but you know, it's that new age, you know, I'm starting to feel old where it's like, oh, I remember when we would go shop at this store or that store. And
yeah.
So many of those are gone.
Yeah. Did you see that there's like this Hollister in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, somewhere in bum F nowhere, that their Hollister has like not updated. It still looks like a Surf Shack, and it's still super smelly. The clothes are like the same, and someone's like, I can't tell if this is like a novelty store, but they're like, it's the same. And there's parts of like, I think Jackson Hole and the people that own it are relatively young, and I'm like, I feel like they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah,
they're
probably.
Keeping it. And you know, you have a list of names on this doc, Daniel. If there's like one mall store that you're like, it's mine, I'm gonna keep it back to like how I used to go, which of those stores would you choose? I know what my answer is.
Ooh, that's a good question.
Like if there's one store that you guys could freeze in time, which would it be? So
I feel like we've moved past it, but I think Hot Topic, back when it was very edgy, very like, it looked very like satanic walking up, right? Very like you're about to enter like, you know, I don't know, God knows what. I would love to freeze it then just to keep it weird, but now it's very like it toned down a little.
It's basically just like a place for
Suncoast. Damn.
I had that. Did you see I put that on the doc?
Yeah.
I put it on the doc and then I removed it because I was like, there's not like a ton of it, but like there is still like one or two. But I've been to two Suncoasts. Once when I was younger, when we used to go to Texas all the time. There's one in like Tahunga that we went to at some random ass mall. Ooh. But I love Suncoast, and I had a pretty cool Goodwill Hunting poster from there. Not to brag. It was all that I could afford. I only had like $4.
Yeah, right. What else? Sharper Image. I don't know if I put that on the doc, but that was one that came to mind. I haven't seen one in forever. I hope they're still around, but I never bought anything from Sharper Image, but I would love to just go play with all the little gadgets, all the stuff.
Like all the as seen on TV stuff was there. I would
you get an avocado peeler / something.
Cigar cutter. Cut cigars, fingers, avocados. I loved Sam Goody. Like that was like,
which I saw that on the doc. I couldn't even tell you what that was.
Yeah, it was like a record store. It was like a music store.
Sam Goody.
They sold records, they sold CDs, they sold band posters. Like bands would come in. Oh my God, what's the name? I can't think of the name of that band, Daniel. Someone can tell me in a second, but it's like, tell me that you're all right, and I'll tell you that I'm all right. He had like big hair. He looked like he was in the Mars Volta. No,
it's on the tip of my tongue.
It'll come to me, but I saw them there when I was like 15. I cannot think of the name of that
Motion
band.
City Soundtrack.
Motion City Soundtrack. Thank you.
Damn. Wow, that's a throwback.
I saw them there, and I just love that store. Like I just thought it had like such a cool energy. Now, granted, they made probably no money because they would just like throw CDs and give them away, and they were always running promos. So like anytime you see a store that's always running a sale or anywhere that's always running sales, that's probably not a good indication that they're going to stay around for that long.
Ain't that the truth?
But yeah, like I loved Sam Goody.
KB Toys. I'm thinking Toys. Like when I was a kid, right? Yeah. The toy store, that freaking toy store. Like it, especially the one at the Northridge Mall, which I mean, you know, we're getting real local here, but that one for whatever reason had really deep aisles, and so it would like transition from like the Transformers to the Power Rangers to the Beyblades to the, you know, it was just like section after section.
Yeah,
God, I miss it.
I know. But you know what survived that whole time is that Buffalo Wild Wings that's there. That freaking thing's been there for like 16 years. And
dude,
you know what? I get food poisoning every time and I still go back. I love it.
You know, that's what we pay for. That's part of the experience. I think we had a friend who recorded a video that ended up going viral from that Northridge Buffalo Wild Wings. And there was a rat running across the air vents up top.
Oh no. Yeah, that place is so gross. I've had so many friends that work there, and they're like, "Never eat here,
Dude.
ever."
Yeah.
And yeah, we did.
Heed their warning. Richard says Barbies at KB Toys had him in his chokehold.
Okay. Yeah, KB Toys is. I just look good. They just had more
Walden
style. Walden books, I
Yeah.
don't know. Walden books, I don't know. Maybe,
No,
maybe
but I
they'll-
did have Borders written on here, which
Yeah,
you know, a lot of the Border stores closed down. There's one at Northridge that shut down.
That was a huge. That was a huge store.
Pick up Walden books.
Alexis says it's the ghetto. Northridge.
Yeah, Northridge is not the place to be anymore.
It's not ghetto, it's ratchet. There's a difference because it's not ghetto all the time. People go there to be ghetto and then they leave. There's a difference, I think. Anyways, so RIP Forever 21. You know, your clothes will live on in landfills and rock stars' basements forever and ever. We will miss you. All right, what else we got?
What else we got? Okay, a little bit of casting. Well, no, I guess not casting news because this has probably been out there for a minute. We got our first look at the new Mortal Kombat characters, and you know, Mortal Kombat 2 is bringing Johnny Cage, which was like notably absent from the first movie. And we get to see Carl Urban as Johnny.
Oh, that
Cage.
scared me.
Oh, he said, "Hi, yeah,
yeah, hi, wow."
So what do we think?
This guy is in everything. Like,
yeah, no, truly. And I wrote it down somewhere in the doc that he's in like most of the big major IPs. You know, Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, The Boys. God knows what else. He's been in.
He's kind of like a Zoe Saldana or like Ming-Na Wen, where like they've just touched every corner of pop culture.
Yeah, honestly. But you know, good for him that like
Tudyk.
his longevity is proven.
Yeah,
to be longevity.
Yeah.
I will say he does look a little older here. I
think he looks strange. Like in my head, Johnny Cage is like what's like Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, like that energy, that vibe, like the blonde hair. But I don't really play a lot of Mortal Kombat, so maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. Maybe someone can the dude playing another dude playing another dude. I don't know. He looks like a bit off to me.
Yeah.
And that's as someone who's like, I'm a complete outsider when it comes to Mortal Kombat. Like, how are you with Mortal Kombat these days? I know you don't play Mortal Kombat because
I don't. I
watch you when you sleep.
Got it. I think the last Mortal Kombat game I played was like X, maybe. Yeah, I think that was like 3 games ago. But even then, it was
like 6-7 years ago, I think.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've never really been a big fan of the games. They're like whatever. They're fun to pick up and at a party or something. But for the most part, I'm not like a big lore follower.
Yeah.
Love the original movies though. The OGs are incredible.
Right. Same ending as Mean Girls.
Yeah, that same song as Mean Girls.
Same song.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, with this, we got like a new look at some of the new characters. Like Katana was in the 97 Mortal Kombat movie,
right?
And this is her. She's in this new one.
Okay.
Adeline Rudolph as Katana.
Okay, I mean, she looks cool. Isn't she supposed to have like a crazy ass mouth?
Yeah, and maybe it's gonna be like a
CGI.
Yeah, I think like she's gonna like maybe
it's not nanotech. She's not Iron Man.
But yeah, I think it's gonna like be away for the most part, and then like when she attacks or something, we'll see it come out.
Oh, because I always thought it was like under her mask.
Yeah,
because when they take the mask off, it was always like out.
yeah, I think it was. Let's see if I can find an asset for that.
Yeah, and so I'm curious what. Oh, Melina. Is the one with the mouth. Katana's. She looks more like her dad. She looks more like her mom. Malia looks like her dad. Okay, I get them confused. I'm not a big Mortal Kombat fan. I'm not a big fighting game fan. I know like people recently lost their minds over the last Tekken, or that Tekken was announced. But I always harken back, Daniel, to the same stories over and over again of me and you playing Bloody Roar at
Bloody
11
Roar.
years old until 4 in the morning. I feel like the last time I really played a fighting game. Oh, Injustice.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Injustice, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You did. And I tried to get into that with you, but I wasn't very good at it. So, me being the perfectionist, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to play this anymore.
This game is stupid.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, any game Paul can be good at, I definitely don't want to
play. That's me. God, what else? Soul Calibur. We used to play Soul Calibur. Like, what are the big fighting games? Soul Calibur, Tekken. We used to be kind of big on Tekken.
Soul Calibur, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Were you into Smash Bros at all?
No. I mean, I liked Smash Bros, but I thought I'm curious again what everyone else thinks, but I didn't grow up playing a lot of Nintendo games, so I didn't really resonate with a lot of those characters. At the time that those characters were big, I was reading comics. So when Injustice came along, I was like, holy hell, I know all of the lore for all these characters, and I was way more excited.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I feel that. And that's fair, I suppose. But yeah, you used to whip my ass at.
Soul Calibur was where is that? I love Soul Calibur was fun.
Mm-hmm. And they would I think they were like the first ones maybe to do those kitschy character add-ins where it's like, oh, hey, here's Vader or something. I think it was like Vader and Yoda.
Okay, I know exactly what it was. Soul Calibur 3. I'm pretty sure we had it on the Xbox, and they added in Spawn.
And
a couple other people, and I was like, that's so cool. And I remember just playing the hell out of the game as Spawn. And also the guy from not Dante's Inferno,
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry. They added in here. Alucard maybe is his name. I forget. But I played a lot of that. So I thought that was fun. But
okay. Yeah. You were very big on the Madden stuff.
I was playing a lot of that and a lot of and then I switched to FPS. Once
Gears. Oh.
Yeah, we'll have a whole show on
we'll have to cover the new Xbox leaks. Supposedly Steam coming to them. That'll be fun.
Yep.
But yeah, we've gotten way away from Mortal Kombat. So we got some other shit.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. We got to look at Shao Kahn. Which jump scare. I mean, look at it.
I told you in the pre-show. He looks crispy.
Crispy. Yeah. This is what my grill looks like after cooking a bunch of chicken.
This is what your grill, aka teeth, would look like if you stuck your head out on a road trip.
Oh my God. Tell me about it.
Yeah, he looks like the bottom of an air fryer.
Yeah. All those crispy bits you don't get rid of.
Best
it adds flavor.
Yeah, he looks like burn ends. Shout out Hutchins. I miss you so much in Texas. I know. Daniel's just pulling up these assets. And the other one where Johnny Cage was like he was also scared.
Oops. Shao Kahn, terrifying. Hiroyuki Sanada, Scorpion.
He looks cool.
I think he was in the first movie. It's been a minute.
Yeah, right. And to reiterate, this is all for the sequel to the first movie that came out, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, I
remember watching it and I was like, that was pretty cool. I thought that was good.
It was entertaining enough. I like the backstory that we get for Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
Agreed.
I don't know. I like in the OG movies, they were just these nameless henchmen ninja people. Whereas here they were fleshed out a little more. That was kind of nice. And then I was looking at the Shao Kahn photo and I was like, this looks a little low budget, right? That's the risk you get when you go practical.
Right.
And I wanted to pull this up as a reminder that it could always be worse. And this is an actual screenshot from the 97 movie, which I think was Mortal Kombat Annihilation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that just looks like one of those dogs that wins ugliest dog competition every year.
Yeah.
That looks like one of our cousins' 14-year-old chihuahuas.
They're really friendly. They don't bite, and then
they don't bite me. Yeah, no, thanks. I'm glad we've come far enough to where we're nitpicking the color streaking in Johnny Cage's hairs. Oh, he said that's from Spawn. Yeah, maybe it's
Oh,
Spawn.
that's from Spawn. Wait, that
Daniel didn't do his due diligence, and yet I was like, I don't know if that's from Mortal Kombat, but I didn't pull the
I
assets.
could have sworn. Oh, you know what? Yeah, well, that's what happens when you Google a little too fast. Oops.
Well, Spawn was in
people.
Soul Calibur, which is a fighting game, which was loosely inspired by Mortal Kombat. So, in a way, John, it was from Spawn. Still, we're wrong. So,
good save.
Yeah, full circle. Yeah. Anyways, so that was just another tiny little bit. Before we get into, you know what? No, let's get into Snow White now, and then we'll end of what everyone's watching and reading and listening to. We haven't done that in a while, and I've been reading. I've got new books. I don't know if I'm reading them, but I am watching a lot of stuff. So, but before that, let's get into our Snow White review. All right. If you guys have not seen the new Snow White, don't worry. I'm not even going to give you a spoiler warning because I don't think you care that much. Because for the most part, unless you're a bunch of 11-year-olds sitting on each other's shoulders in a trench coat, I think you're all adults and probably won't really get to this movie. So, all right. With that, Snow White, the live action, our first review is flying in. The Snow White live action film has finally come out. Now, the reason we say finally is because this movie's been in, I think, production and post-production for like 4 years. This movie wrapped primary filming around the end of 2022.
Damn.
That's insane. That is insane.
That's pretty crazy.
But the movie has been in post-production for 3 years. And just to give you an example, if you guys haven't seen it, something like Megalopolis, which was a terrible Francis Ford Coppola film, was in post-production for like 8 years. So that's what happens is when these movies go in, different visions, different people come in and out of the fold. And, like, what was his name? Chapek was the guy that greenlit this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And now Iger is the guy that's doing it. So, like, that's how long this movie has taken. So just some context there. You guys all know what Snow White is. It's a classic. It's a retelling of the classic story with some differences that were made very apparent by the lead in our film, Rachel Zegler, she plays the titular Snow White in the film. We've also got, what is his name? I cannot for the life of me find his name.
Jonathan. His name was Jonathan in the film.
Yeah, Jonathan in the film. Thank you. Not Emil. His name is Andrew Burnip. Andrew Burnip and Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen. I thought the Evil Queen had a name, and I was refusing to listen to logic with my much more intelligent, let's be honest, girlfriend. And I was like, this is Maleficent.
Oh. I could see the mistake there.
Are they not the same exact person?
No. Maleficent is like kind of like a fairy almost, I think. I didn't really see the backstory movies, but yeah, she's like an evil witch kind of thing, but no, different character entirely.
Her sister was a witch, dude. Yes, I mean,
that's what the movie felt like.
Yes, Laura, I didn't want to say it, but yes, a little bit of that. Grant, I feel a little more highly on his character than Daniel does, but we'll get into that in our full review. But just some background. You've also got so Rachel Zegler, Gal Gadot as the Evil Queen, and that's really it for the main cast of people that they really choose to focus on. Now the movie again just recently came out. It's not doing super well. It's done by Mark Webb, who everyone's known. He's done some of the Spider-Man films. It opened to an estimated $43 million. It was trying to hit 50. Now the issue with that in general is that the movie cost them roughly $250 million to make. No, that's from pre to post production over the course of 5 years, which isn't too bad, I guess, but it's not great. It's $50 million a year. And it's a movie that was just rife with controversy and from basically the jump. Alphabet. And so I think that that's a good place for us to get into, sort of what you need to know if you're interested in this movie, what you need to know to get into this film. So first and foremost, let's start where we always start. Daniel, did you like the movie?
No. I wanted to. I kept it, like, you can ask Richard. After watching the movie, I was like, oh, but the music was good. It wasn't. I was like, oh,
there were a couple of moments. Okay, no, I thought her first song where she's like running out and she's like singing into the rooftop while she's
yeah.
I thought like there's some moments that I was like, oh shit, Rachel Zegler can sing. Like, that's not bad. Like, I thought that was good. Also, the best song of the whole movie was the dwarves singing the Hi Ho song.
Yeah, 100%. The last song was like a little bit of an earworm. Richard caught me humming it like in the car on our way to like dinner.
That's some recency bias there.
Exactly, 100%. It was like, the final song. I thought the dance number was cute, right? Confetti, everybody's wearing white. Mm-hmm. It was very culty a little right at the end.
Yeah, very like Midsummer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, what is happening in this town now? But I thought sorry, let me let you finish. So let's start maybe the music. So not a fan of most of it.
Not a fan of most of it. The original songs that were from like the old movie, Hi Ho and Whistle While We Work. I mean, I think those are the only two songs that carried over. Which those might be the only two songs in the original. Yeah, those are incredible. Those are amazing. Whatever. They were just like reworks, almost note for note reworks, which is fine. They hold up. But yeah, all the original music to this movie, everything was just kind of bad. Gal Gadot's song. She's not a singer. She's not an actress.
Oh my god.
She's just, there was like no emotion, and like maybe to the detriment of the movie, her costuming was so stiff too. Like there was a point where she's like, no, and like she had to turn with her whole shoulders.
No, she turned with her whole ass neck.
Yeah.
So the music was pretty forgettable. It's my favorite term. The music was pretty forgettable overall. Like
that's a good way to put it. Forgettable.
Other than like Hi Ho, but that's like one that is saying like all over Disneyland. Like you can hear that. I feel like around Disneyland, and it's so old that you know it. And that's the only one that I enjoyed because I was like, at least I know this song, and I didn't realize how forgettable everything else in Snow White was. But to the point of singing and to Laura's point below, yes, Gal Gadot sings. And there is a moment where it's, I live with myself, so I'm pretty embarrassed constantly. I was like actually embarrassed for her. And I was like, no, dude, like I like cringed like I was watching Terrifier 3. Like I couldn't watch the screen because even with all of the audio mixing, all of the stem pulling, all of the stuff that they do to make it bad, you can still hear her flat.
Ooh.
And I feel, and it was the song, Daniel, where she's like, it's like right before they go out on the big hunt and they're like looking for her.
Yeah. Where I think that's where she's wearing like the iconic colorway, or like the original like black and purple, maybe something like that.
Yeah, she's wearing all these colors, and Laura, to your point, there's that song particularly. I was like, you need to stop. Like, I think someone has it out for you. That they're like, no, let's keep this going to be as bad as possible to embarrass Gal.
And not to be like a conspiracy theorist, but she had her like Walk of Fame star installed like 3 days before this movie came out.
Right.
And I wouldn't doubt it's because, I mean, I know you buy them, right? But I feel like she was trying to get that like image out and in and done before this movie was like out and watchable.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
she was getting ahead of.
Yeah, getting ahead of it. Yeah, for sure. There is a moment as well in the movie that also like feels like pointed, where she's having a conversation pretty early on with the forgettable guy, and she's like talking to him, and you can almost see the ADR, which is like, if you don't know, it's sounds and lines that they add in after the fact. And normally it's like when a character is like this, and then they'll add in something different because like maybe they blew a line or there's a noise. It almost felt like a lot of her dialogue is not seen, and it's a ton of ADR.
Yeah,
and
100%.
And she's not in the room hardly ever with anyone else. And I think that, I don't know, I just feel like she was just a real big problem on this movie. Like, not even being mean or anything, but like maybe they casted her and there's like, oh man, like I don't think she's qualified for this.
Yeah.
And you can kind of feel that in the film.
Yeah, 100%. And I feel like there was difficulties too with her being like, I mean, if you listen to her speaking like in interviews and stuff, she has a strong accent. And I feel like she was really trying to act around it rather than like lean into it. Because I mean, they even say like, oh, she's from the Southern Kingdom, she's from a distant land, like easily like use the accent, play into it. But I feel like she was trying to like act around it, and it really made her like stony and robotic. And like,
that's a really good point.
Like the clip of her in Justice League where she's like, Kal-El, no, just no emotion here in the eyes. It's all like she's forcing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the woodland creatures that truly are more emotional than her.
Yeah, the deer, the squirrel, the
little porcupine that's rolling around. It's a klutz. So yeah, in a similar way, I didn't really like the movie. I don't care. I didn't really grow up with Disney. I don't really care so much about Disney princesses. So like, it's just another film to watch for me. So with that being said, like I found the CGI to not be as bad as I thought it was going to be, except for the dwarves. Like it became real hard to look at the dwarves. You can see some of them below. Like these are what they look like. Oh, okay. They're like full CGI. I don't know like what kind of mocap they were doing, but it's weird. It's real weird and so distracting.
Yeah, and everybody's like dead in the eyes, right?
Yes.
Like it's so hard to do a face, I'm sure, but and when you look at them, sometimes it looks like a regular sized face, like with accentuated features, right? Like Dopey's got real big eyes, Grumpy's got like a really big nose. But like for the most part, I feel like they took like the facial structure of like a regular person and then like scaled it onto like a smaller body.
Right.
And it just like it's so uncanny valley. It was weird to look at the whole time.
Yeah, that's what Liza had said, that it's very uncanny valley.
Yeah,
and Richard just a second ago. And one of the things I was telling, because poor sweet Alexis, I was like, I have to call you after this and I have to talk to you about it. Because I'm like, I cannot physically keep this in until tomorrow. And I was telling her that like, when you're doing mocap and you're doing CGI, there are like, they're using software, right, for some of this stuff. And there's like circles of interest. So like the mocap is moving and it's tracking, and it's so noticeable in this. And I only know this from like tiny bits of stuff that I've seen from the back end. But like Daniel was saying, they're like focusing on the face. And so you'd see the face and they're like super reactive and they're singing, but everything else around it is like their mouth is moving, but their eyes don't move.
Yes, just 100%.
And then their head moves, and it's so weird. Sorry, I just did that creepy ass face, but like that's just all I could think about. And
chat, can we clip that?
And it was pretty weird to watch for me.
I feel like a lot of the CGI took me out of it. Especially when they did like big sweeping set extensions, right? And you can tell like they're on this little like 4-foot wide balcony, and everything else is blue screened in, green screened
100%.
in.
Yeah. But to that, I thought that the mines that the dwarves go in and sing, I thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah, sure. I think it had the benefit of like low light, so they could hide a lot of it in darkness, shadow, whatever. But yeah, there's a scene where and the dwarves have magic or something, right? You know, when they like touch the stones, everything lights up.
No
that
clue.
looked great, right?
Never explained again.
Yeah, never touched on again.
Yeah. Yeah, so the music, meh, CGI, meh. Before we get into like some of the other controversies, which we're going to get into in a second as to why this movie is doomed to fail. What did you think of Rachel Zegler? Because I think like she is the point that people are making, that like everything else is not good, but she's okay.
Yeah, and I would make the argument for the same. I feel like her performance is great, but it's like you can only be as good as the writing, right? And I feel like a lot of it was not written too well. Like the movie takes on big like oppressive themes, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear my cat.
Kita.
The movie takes on big like oppressive regime themes, right? The evil queen is like moved into the castle, taken over the town. And so the whole story becomes about like revolution, right? Revolution's like a big theme in it. And I feel like for Snow White, it's a weird approach, but her singing was incredible. I feel like other than the hair, she looked pretty good, right? That like the costume she was wearing is like straight out of the comics, the storybooks, the original media. And like the one little like thing that I really enjoyed with the movie was that like in the beginning, everything is vibrant, it's colorful, when everything's good and copacetic. And then as the evil queen takes over, like the colors in the town start like diminishing. Everyone starts wearing like beige and gray, and but she remains like the vibrant set piece. Her dress is still like primary blue and red and yellow, and that was cool. That was cool to see. I'm glad they didn't go with like that modern, I hate to say Marvel looking, where everything's just kind of like duller,
muted. Yeah. Like it's practical is what they call it. Like they're practical suits.
The MCUification of it all.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that much. I feel like costuming across the board could have been better because,
I thought it looked okay, but I also don't know. Like, I don't know if like if I'm not costuming is not my jam. So
a lot of Gal Gadot's costumes looked like those pillows where if you rub it one way, it looks like one color, and then if you go the opposite way, it changes, or it's like Nick Cage on her.
Yeah, it's like coffee time, tequila time, coffee time, tequila time. That'll be like your millennial Airbnbs.
So yeah, some of it looked a little cheap, right? I feel like Rachel Zegler's costume looked a little Party City for me. But I did enjoy that it was like bright and vibrant,
I agree
in that aspect.
I agree.
I thought Rachel Zegler was like the highlight of this movie, truly.
I felt she is the biggest highlight of the film, like, and by a mile. I felt she is hands down the only glue sort of keeping that ship afloat. And you can kind of feel it after a while because, and this is why she's burdened by her success in the movie, because if there's any moments in the movie where like she's at a lull or not on screen, the movie is real bad.
Yeah. Like there's a song in there where I think it's where Jonathan finally falls in love with her. Yeah. And like she starts singing in like the back half of the song, but in the beginning it's very him like, oh, she's actually very pretty, him falling in love with her. It just kind of that it wasn't very good until she hops in, and then the voices work together really well. But yeah, I mean, like for the most part, like it was so bland without her. All the scenes without her.
And I'll say this poor film, like, and not even the poor film, everyone knew what they were getting themselves into. Rachel Zegler truly is, I've learned, I was like, oh, I've seen her in a few of these things and she's good in everything. I think she just had a real bad press run with this, which again, we'll get into in 1 second.
Yeah.
But
Oh, absolutely.
at the tail end of it, like this movie also suffers from being only months away from, I would say, one of the best musicals and best vocal performances in a musical in the last 5 years in
Yeah.
Wicked. And like now, Wicked is the bar for any
Absolutely.
fantasy musical. So for this movie to come out, now Rachel Zegler could have easily fit into, I'm talking talent wise. She could have been a great B-lister in Wicked. She's not Cynthia, she's not Ariana, but also there's no one even close to Rachel Zegler in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. She's
And
leaps
so,
and bounds ahead of everyone.
yes, it's so noticeable that it makes the rest of the movie always feel like it's like catching up and it doesn't know what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it really suffered from that. I felt, again, I think it's going to do numbers. I did tell, at the end of this, I did tell Alexis yesterday on the phone. I was just like, I was grumpy. I was this guy, and then I slowly started switching over and over and over to the other ones. What is his name?
Sneezy.
Happy, grateful. No, the happy one. Happy. And because there was a family right behind me. I was sitting in the middle. There's only a few other people in there, but it was like two couples, and they brought their daughters like to hang out to see it, who were having a fucking blast. And I was like, well, that's what the movie's for. Like the kids were singing, the girls were singing, they were dancing, and then like the parents were chatting and sort of like enjoying a safe place for their kids to enjoy the movies. That's more about me liking movies and the movie experience, but like, yeah, that's what it's for. So my old bitter heart was warmed by that moment. But not everyone's heart was warmed by this movie because it's kind of getting review bombed. People don't like it, but there's a lot of other reasons. There's a lot of controversies around this film. So
yeah,
when you look at like why this movie failed, Daniel, what is your reason? Do you think that this movie is just like unsuccessful before it even released?
I hate to be the curmudgeon, but I really do think we're seeing a lot of the like the right wing sphere opinions and like the vocal minority, right? Vocal minority.
Right.
Just kind of lashing out. A lot of people were unhappy that they cast a Latina as Snow White.
Right.
A lot of people were upset that like I think it was Peter Dinklage. Like when the movie was in very early production, was like, how dare they not cast like actual dwarf actors, or how dare they he didn't.
He had said that these roles are antiquated and that actual dwarves are above this kind of film.
Yeah. And so immediately Disney, I'm sure in like a PR driven move, was like, okay, you're so right. We're not going to cast human actors to play these parts. They're going to be CGI, and I think that tanked its I guess it didn't tank it off the bat, but there's that was a huge controversy.
And there were dwarves who were like, hey, we're not all Peter Dinklage. Like, we're not all this actor. Some of us need these working roles, and you don't speak for all of us. Like you don't get to say what roles are good or not. And now this is 3, 6, 7 roles that could have went to actual working dwarves in the industry when there are so few roles that can go. And so that was early on. And then there was more, right?
Oh God, what else was there?
Well, there were the comments by Rachel Zegler, like on a press tour, where she had said,
that rings a bell.
Yeah, she had said something about that. She felt that the original film was antiquated, and that I have her quote here. If you'll give me if you'll give me 2 seconds, she said she's not going to be saved by the prince. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. Well, one of those things is already not true because she dreams about true love in the movie. So they kept some of that in. And that really got a lot of backlash from people for no reason. You know, she was just, it was already like, and this is maybe just the wrong way to look at it, but these people who already did not want a Latina or someone not white in the role, they're like, you should already be lucky that you're here. And now you're and now you're disparaging the original film, you know, that means so much to us from 1937. Like, come on.
And I feel like that's such a frequent smokescreen is that it's like, oh, they're changing the source material. They're not being faithful to the source material. Like, and it's such a back argument nowadays because, yeah, I mean, like we've seen race swapping, we've seen gender swapping characters, and like, so what? So be it. You know, I feel like it only serves to drive the narrative. You know, I don't feel like it's a cop out moment. I don't feel like it's you know, reaching to be like a diverse thing. I feel like it really is like there are stories to be told. You know, and then just opens up the world of representation.
Exactly. And I love my favorite example because I was at Sideshow at the time that this happened, and I was a moderator for a group with tens of thousands of people when they announced that Ariel from Little Mermaid was now black.
Yeah. Oh,
God. And my favorite comment was people being like, well, if you look at the source material, mermaids aren't black. It's like, you know what else mermaids aren't? Real. They're not real. So it doesn't matter. Have you also ever heard Chloe Bailey sing? Like, she's incredible. Like, she was great. And it's just like that narrative where it's like, I think people just need, like, it's just, it's already so divisive in the other spheres of the world that like, it's been inevitable lately that people are, it's going to bleed into media.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, you know, the Disney sanitized those original. I think it was like a Brothers Grimm.
The Brothers Grimm. Read those. Those are awesome. They're super metal.
This was another big part of it was that Rachel Zegler was very vocally pro-Palestine and, you know, anti-Israel, whereas Gal Gadot is from Israel. So of course she's pro-Israeli and, you know, pro the Israeli movement, that Zionist movement. And so they had like conflicting opinions out in the press, and yeah, they were like they I think at one point they stopped doing press tours together. So
it was like that was another thing is that during the premiere, they didn't have a press walk, they didn't have a pre-party, they literally just had a red carpet with photographers and a couple of industry and internal Disney people, because like they couldn't get Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot in the same room together for too long, like other than what is contractually obligated.
Right. A nice picture on the red carpet, and then that's it.
Yeah, so it's complicated because Gal Gadot, you know, she's Israeli. She was in the Israeli military as is required of Israeli people at that time. I don't know. I don't really, you know, this is not a world government show. But yeah, I think her comments were like, you know, how you can't like, they were a response to Rachel Zegler posting on her story and doing a bunch of other things and saying like, you can't be anti this and pro this because people are dying on both sides. And then she kind of doubled down a bunch once, you know, things really kind of heated up. And so that was just a real shock for Disney. And this movie just, again, rife with controversy. Rachel Zegler, also when Donald Trump won the presidency, she had said, I hope that all the people who voted for him never know peace a day in her life, and then like immediately deleted that tweet. But like Disney went into full backlash mode. Like,
oh, I'm sure
And they had just dropped the trailer.
Oh God.
It was just, dude, this movie, it was just doomed. Oh God, I couldn't even imagine.
And you know what? Snow White is such a cornerstone to Disney. I mean, obviously it was their first, I think it was their first first movie that they had put out. I think it was the first feature-length animated, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a huge piece of Disney history, to the point where like the building in Burbank, it has all 7 dwarves like built into the building. So I feel like for them, they had so much writing on this movie, and then every just domino just went wrong.
See, I think the opposite of that. Actually, I was thinking about it
down too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't remember that. No.
Oh God, it's like reading about Amelia Perez. It's like I cannot afford to go down another because in about 5 to 6 minutes when we're done with the show, I will never think about this movie again. So
honestly, same. I mean, I know we discussed having like a ranking of our like Disney live actions, and I was kind of going over some with Richard, and he mentioned the live action Jungle Book reboot.
Right.
I forgot they made that.
Actually, not bad.
Okay, well,
it's actually pretty
biased, I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, I've always kind of looked like Mowgli when I was younger, so I kind of loved it with my beaver hair. Yeah. So again, kind of putting a pin on it with Snow White. To Daniel's point of saying they had a lot writing on it, I don't think they did. My theory is they were like, this is so if you aren't aware, they do a lot of these movies so that they can maintain the IP for as long as humanly possible. Because they own the name Snow White, and then they own the likeliness to Rachel Zegler, and then they'll have an artist make Rachel Zegler look like the original, and then while the lapse is there, they'll buy the original. So it's just cyclical, right? That happens,
right.
But basically, I think that they were like, this is a slam dunk. Like, this is gonna be easy freaking peasy. We can move on. And it just didn't work out that way. I read like allegedly, and I also did some like Paul faux math. I think this movie was originally supposed to cost about like 120 million because they were going to cast, they were going to cast actual little people in the roles of dwarves, which, it's substantially cheaper to predict the cost of someone's contract than what the cost of CGI will or will not be to 5-10 months. And then you have Gal Gadot at the time, like she's kind of on the downslope, like she's well removed from Wonder Woman. So I think the movie was really inflated. So I think the movie was a slam dunk for them in their mind, and then it just all went to hell. But it's very telling, I think, of the place that Disney is at right now, where even the IPs that they feel are legacy IPs that there's no way people, exactly safe, that there's no way people can hate, are just not working with people anymore. It's just not what people are watching. It's not what people want to watch. This movie should have been maybe a Disney Plus TV show. Like in hindsight.
Ouch. Yeah. I mean, that was like the level of like storytelling that I was getting.
Yeah.
For what this movie is, like, to wrap it up in a 2-hour little bow, I mean, it just nothing ever landed, right? I mean, even like the iconic, like when she eats the poison apple, she is under like the curse, and the prince comes and like gives her the kiss. Even that, it all fell flat. Like, there was no emotional like gut punch. It didn't, I don't know, like for what they built it up to be within the movie, it didn't land, right? Like there was no emotional like connect.
Yep. And I think it just boils down to Disney doing what they always do, and is a way over inflation of value in their IP. Like they're like, oh man, people are gonna love this Lilo and Stitch live action. And they're like, sure, like, but the last one came out like 15 years ago. Like it does, like we can just watch that. It's not like Snow White where it's like, oh God, I'm not even gonna pretend to do that math, but like 90-ish, 85 years removed from the original. And we can
look at Moana. The last one came out in I guess the first one 2016, and then they're already working on a live action redo.
Right. And so they just they way overvalue how important and how much people like their films. And I think, and I mean this truly, just to kind of put a cap on it, I think Disney is shaking in their very expensive boots when something like Flow wins Best Animated Feature. That cost them $10 million to make and has been seen far more than probably anything they've put out, with the exception of Inside Out 2. So, yeah, I mean, Snow White, not really a great foray into the live action verse of Disney. They have just not been connecting. And Daniel, I don't know about you. Like, I don't think there's anything that they have left that I want to see. I think at this point it's like, stop.
I'm kind of excited to see Lilo and Stitch. Personally. Okay, but that's fully a bias. I love Lilo and Stitch. And I'm sure they're gonna butcher it. I'm sure it's not gonna land as well as the first one did. But I feel like you lose so much magic with moving from animation to live action.
Agreed.
There's just so much like physical humor, the animated physical humor, the slapstickiness. You lose a lot of that in translation. And I feel like there's really nothing that I want to see them do. Like that I would go and like root for like a live action remake.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Just counting the days till they do like Frozen live action.
Yeah, it's coming. Absolutely. I'm telling you, there's no way that they do not have an internal roadmap of like, this is what we're doing in 2030. And it's like, oh God, just stop. Like,
100%.
But to the opposite end of that, I watched the trailer for Elio.
Oh yeah, Elio,
the little alien one. I was like, that looks cute. That's new. Like, that looks fun. Like,
and it's fresh and it's new. And that's Pixar. And I feel like when Pixar's not, trying to like what is the word? Beat a dead horse.
Rehash. Yeah.
Rehash. I feel like when Pixar's allowed to like explore new IPs, new stories, they tend to do well, right?
Yeah.
But now we're seeing like Coco 2,
Toy Story 5,
Toy Story 5, like, dude, yeah. If they make an up 2, I'm gonna riot.
Oh, I don't know.
Or
nothing is sacred.
Nothing
is sacred. If Dwayne has taught us anything, your transmissions are not safe. Our movies are not sacred. And promise tomorrow. So, Laura said, aside from live action remakes, they've all been lackluster. Now, like we were saying, Snow White's not a big draw. Like, again, they just overvalue what their IP is in the minds of America and the world.
Yeah. It was a rights grab for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, everyone, that was Snow White. And it's gonna be, it's not, well, no, I don't recommend it.
It's a tough sell, but I mean, if you got kids or if you're, looking for something to do with your niece, your nephew, I mean, it's a decent time.
It's cute. It's cute. And, but if you're a grown adult and you're going to watch this movie and getting weird looks like myself, watch it at home. Watch it at home. I wish there was a shirt that I could wear when I see some of this stuff that's like, I swear to God, I watch everything.
I'm here to review this.
Yeah. Well, everyone, that's our show. Thank you all so very much. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Hopefully not in 3 weeks,
Yeah, we will see you in 2 weeks.
I was sick. Paul was sick. The whole thing.
It was bad. Daniel's just got back from Japan. So
I'm so thankful we got sick after the trip and like when we got home, because if we got sick like right when we landed there, I'd have been pissed. But
was Richard sick too?
Yeah, he got it too. Whatever I had, I gave it to him. So it was like as I was getting better, he was starting to get worse.
He's already coming for your illnesses, Daniel. It's that prenup.
Oh yeah.
He's like, it's mine.
He gets half everything.
Mm-hmm. All right, everyone. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, we always really, really appreciate it. Definitely going to try to not go as long. We have some fun stuff. We've got new art. We're changing up the art in the direction of our show.
Oh, yeah.
That is coming soon. New logo. It's just, me and Daniel were talking about this. Like, it's real hard to get us both in a room because we're both so busy.
Dude, yeah, like we need to start sharing a Google Calendar or something.
I know.
It's
No,
like, oh,
absolutely.
how's your May looking? Look,
Literally. Well, everyone, thank you all so much. We appreciate you as always. Daniel, thank you for all the okay. You're like Maddie. She doesn't know which way to turn her head anymore.
No, fully. I can't get my head around stage right, stage left.
Yeah, dude, I did this for years. And so now it's just like ingrained in my brain when me and Autumn would just talk to each other. Or we would just high five.
See, I'm getting it.
There you go. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so very much. Have a happy week. We got all the bad vibes out. They can just stay here with Gal Gadot and her terrible performance. You won't take them to the rest of the week with you. Thank you guys so much. Remember to like what you love what you like, and don't be a dick about it. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Hi ho. Hi ho.